name is Toni and today I'm going to analyze a short story written by Chopin entitled Desiree's Baby. The story takes place around the 19th century. It's about a young couple who had fallen deeply in love, Armand Aubigny and Desiree. Armand was completely smitten by Desiree's beauty. He loved her so much. One day they decided to get married. They had a beautiful baby boy, and they lived in Les Havre. The couple was blissfully happy. Everything seems to be going well until one day Desiree noticed that there was something in the air that was menacing her peace. Armand had begun to act very distant and cold and strange towards her. When he spoke to her, it was with averted eyes. The love that they had once had, he had for Desiree, had grown dim. He began to avoid her and the baby's presence. It was as if Satan had completely taken up residence in his soul. Armand's behavior caused Desiree to become very withdrawn and depressed. She began to neglect the baby. She wouldn't take care of the baby. Desiree was deeply hurt by the way that Armand was treating her. She couldn't articulate her feelings. Kate Joplin masterfully illustrates how Desiree was feeling, especially when she said her blood turned like ice in her veins and charmed moisture gathered upon her face. It makes you wonder how a love that was so great could turn so cold. One day, Armand came in the room and he didn't even notice her. He wouldn't even give her eye contact. Desiree was completely distraught. She called to Armand, and Armand didn't respond. She tottered towards him out of desperation, and she called his name again. And she clutched his arm and she said, "Armand, look at our child. What does this mean?" And Armand coldly loosened his fingers from her arm and he thrust her arm away. And Desiree persistently asked him, she said, "Tell me, Armand, what does this mean?" Armand finally answered her and he said, "That child is not white and you are not white." Desiree was completely completely distraught. She said, she said, that can't be. She said, "Of course we're white." She said, "Look at my skin. Look at the baby's skin. We're white." All Armand could think of is that he was just being punished by God, and how could God just punish him? He no longer loved Desiree, and she had completely brought dishonor and shame upon his name and his family. This left Desiree in shock. Everything that she had once known and loved had turned into a vapor of mist. She asked Armand again. She said, "Armand," she said, "tell me, do you want me to go?" He responded, "Yes, I want you to go." She was devastated when Armand told her. When Armand looked at her and she said goodbye, he no longer wanted to be with her. That was like the final blow. Desiree took the baby. She left with the clothes on her back. And then she went upstairs and she gathered the baby and she walked. And I love this. She walked out the door. And I love this part when Kate Joplin said that when the story takes, when they talks about her walking out, it said that she walked across a deserted field where the stubble bruised her tender feet so deeply and tore her thin gown to shreds. This is symbolic of not only her being physically bruised, but it's also symbolically of the hurt that she felt in her heart and that she had endured towards her marriage to Armand. The gown being torn is symbolic of the love that was torn away from her marriage to Armand. The story continues to unfold as Armand he gathers up Desiree's belonging, and all her gowns and everything, he gathers them up to discard them. And then he came across a tiny bundle of letters in the drawer. But there was one particular letter that was in the back of the drawer. It was a letter that was written from his mother to his father. And she said, She was thanking God for the blessings of her husband and how he loved her. But she said, most of all, night and day, she said, I thank God, our dear God, for Armand will never know that his mother, who adores him, belongs to the race that was cursed by the brand of slavery. The very thing that Armand despised about Desiree and his baby, his own flesh and blood, he was the same. He was a mulatto child born as a result of an interracial relationship. This concludes my presentation of Desiree's baby. I hope you enjoyed it.